There's a strange thing that happens as we get older. Time doesn't just pass. It accelerates. 1 year starts to feel like 6 months. A season disappears before you've even noticed it arrived. And here's the part that doesn't make sense at first. Some people reach old age with a calm face and a light heart, while others carry a quiet regret that no success ever erased. Not because they were smarter, not because they had better luck, but because they lived for decades without realizing what was silently leaving them every single day. And once you see that, you stop wasting your life on the wrong battles. Stick with me, because the final lesson is the one most people avoid, and it might be the one that finally sets you free. Lesson 1. You're not getting older, you're losing your ability to live. We talk about age like it's just a number, like it's neutral, like it's something we can manage with the right attitude or the right supplements or the right routine. But the real loss isn't the number on your birthday cake. It's the slow, quiet disappearing of what you used to do without effort, the energy that used to be automatic, the flexibility you took for granted, the ability to enjoy life fully without your body negotiating every single step. Think about it. How many things have you already stopped doing, not because you don't want to, but because your body quietly withdrew permission? Maybe it's the hike you used to love. Maybe it's dancing without worrying about your knees. Maybe it's just getting through a full day without feeling like you need to recover from it. And here's what makes this so disorienting. The loss doesn't announce itself. There's no clear moment where your body says, "This is the last time." You just do something one day, and then months pass, maybe years, and you realize you haven't done it again. Not because you chose to stop, but because stopping chose you. Research in gerontology shows that physical decline doesn't happen gradually and evenly. It accelerates. Muscle loss, what scientists call sarcopenia, speeds up after 50. You can lose 3 to 5% of your muscle mass per decade after that. Flexibility drops. Balance becomes uncertain. Recovery takes longer. It's called the compression of morbidity. The window where you're truly healthy, truly mobile, truly free in your body, it's narrower than you think. Much narrower. And most people don't see it happening until they're already on the other side of it. But here's what makes this painful, what makes it more than just a physical reality. Most people don't regret not earning more. They don't regret not climbing higher in their career or buying a bigger house or accumulating more status. They regret that their body stopped cooperating right when they finally had time, right when the kids were grown and gone, right when the career pressures eased, right when they thought they could finally breathe, finally travel, finally live the life they'd been postponing. And by then, the window had already closed. There's a story about a man who worked his entire life building a boat. Every weekend, every spare moment, he was in his garage, sanding, measuring, dreaming of the day he'd sail away. He told himself, "When I retire, when I have time, that's when I'll really live." He finished the boat at 67, launched it at 68, and by 70, his body couldn't handle the physical demands of sailing anymore. The boat sat in the harbor, a monument to postponed dreams. That's not a cautionary tale about retirement. It's a cautionary tale about waiting. Buddhism teaches something uncomfortable but necessary. Anicca, impermanence. Everything is in flux. Everything is dissolving, even as it appears solid. And your body is not exempt from this law. Every day, your body is not adding. It's subtracting, not to scare you, not to make you anxious, but to wake you up. Because the moment you stop pretending you have unlimited later, you begin to live like today matters. Not in a frantic, desperate way, but in a clear, present way. There's a practice in Buddhist monasteries. Some monks keep a skull on their meditation altar, not to be morbid, not to glorify death, but to remind themselves every single day, this body is temporary. This moment is fleeting. So what will you do with it while it's here? You don't need a skull, but you do need honesty. Your body is whispering to you right now. It's saying, I won't always be able to do this. And the question is, are you listening, or are you still negotiating with time you don't have? The people who age with regret, they're not the ones who tried and failed. They're the ones who waited and waited and waited until waiting became all they had left. Practice this. Place a hand on your chest. Take one slow breath. Feel your heartbeat. Feel the life still moving through you. And ask yourself, what am I postponing that my body may not be able to do later? What dream am I delaying? What experience am I saving for someday? That answer is your first door back to life. But most people don't walk through it, because walking through it means admitting something they've been avoiding for years. It means facing the fact that the future they've been counting on might not wait for them. And that takes us to the next truth, the one that's even harder to accept. Lesson 2. Your most precious stage is short, and it disappears quietly. Your 50s and 60s are rare. You still have strength. You usually have more financial stability than you did in your 30s. You're no longer proving yourself to everyone. The kids, if you have them, are often grown. The career ladder doesn't call to you the way it used to. And yet, time starts to shrink. Not dramatically, silently. This is the paradox of this stage. You finally have the resources, the wisdom, the freedom you spent decades building toward. But the clock is ticking faster than it ever has before. And here's what makes this dangerous. This is why so many people fall into the same trap. They say, later, when things slow down, after retirement, when I have more time. But the danger isn't being busy. The danger is living like tomorrow is guaranteed. There's research in psychology that explains why time feels like it's accelerating. When you're young, every year represents a larger percentage of your total lived experience. When you're 10, 1 year is 10% of your life. When you're 50, 1 year is only 2%. So proportionally, time compresses. It speeds up. Not because the days are shorter, but because they're less novel, less distinct, less memorable, and when nothing stands out, everything blurs together. Years vanish. And then you're 65, wondering where the last decade went. You're 70, looking back at 60 like it was yesterday, and the plans you made, the dreams you protected, the life you were going to live when you had time, they're still sitting there, untouched, gathering dust. In psychological research, there's something called the compression of morbidity. It's a term that sounds clinical, but it means something deeply personal. The number of years you have left where you're truly healthy, truly mobile, truly able to do what you want, is shorter than you think. Much shorter. Most people assume they'll have a long, slow decline, plenty of time to adapt, plenty of time to still do what matters. But that's not how it usually works. What often happens is this: you're fine, and then suddenly you're not. A fall, a diagnosis, a surgery that doesn't quite heal the way it should, and suddenly the things you were going to do someday are no longer possible. And most people waste those precious years, those 50s and 60s, when they still have mobility, energy, health, waiting for a perfect moment that never comes. Think about the people you know who retired with big plans, travel, hobbies, freedom. Finally, time to do what they always wanted. And then within a few years, sometimes even months, their health declined, their energy dropped, their confidence faded, and all those dreams they postponed, they stayed postponed, permanently. Not because they didn't want them, but because they waited too long. Buddhism teaches that life is not promised. It's borrowed, moment by moment. The breath you just took, that was a gift. The next one, not guaranteed. In the Pali Canon, there's a teaching where the Buddha asks his students, "How long is a human life?" One student says, 7 days. Another says, 1 day. Another says, the time it takes to eat a meal. And the Buddha says, the length of a human life is 1 breath, not to create fear, but to create presence. Because when you truly understand that this moment, this day, this year is not guaranteed, you stop living like you have infinite time. You stop postponing. You stop waiting for permission. You start living. There's a teaching in Zen. The time is always now. Not because now is convenient, not because now is easy, but because now is all you actually have. The version of you that exists today, with the body you have today, with the energy you have today, with the relationships you have today, that version is limited, and it's counting down. So don't wait for the perfect season to arrive. Don't wait for the moment when everything finally aligns, because this is the season, right now, this body, this moment, this year. The perfect moment is a myth. The perfect moment is always later. And later never comes. Ask yourself, if I keep delaying, what will I lose first? Time, strength, or courage? Most people lose all three, and they don't even realize it until they're looking back, wondering why they were so afraid to live when they still could. The window is open now, but it won't stay open forever. But here's the painful part, the part most people don't see coming. It's not always about doing more. Sometimes it's about realizing why you can't stop doing at all. And that's where the real trap lives, the one that exhausts you in ways you can't even name. Lesson 3. You're not tired because you do too much. You're tired because you've left yourself behind. Burnout isn't always about workload. Often, it's about identity. It's about losing yourself inside a role you can't let go of, because without it, you don't know who you are anymore. When your worth becomes tied to what you produce, you can't rest without guilt. You can't slow down without fear, and you don't stop, because deep down you're afraid of 2 things, losing value and becoming invisible. This is the exhausting equation that traps so many people. I am what I do. Therefore, if I stop doing, I stop being. And the cruelest part? The body starts to slow down right when the mind is still clinging to the old pace. So you push, you override, you ignore the signals, and you call it discipline, when really it's just fear. Think about how you introduce yourself at gatherings, at family events, even in your own mind. Do you lead with what you do, your role, your title, your function? For most people, the answer is yes, because we've been taught that what we do is who we are, that our value is measured in output, in productivity, in how much we can handle before we break. But what happens when the roles start to fade, when the job ends, when the kids leave, when the body can't keep up, when the identity you've spent decades building starts to dissolve? In psychology, this is called role exit. It's the painful process of leaving an identity that defined you. And for people who built their entire sense of self around being productive, capable, needed, that exit feels like death. Because if you're not the provider, the achiever, the one everyone relies on, the one who holds it all together, then who are you? That question terrifies people, so they avoid it. They keep going, they keep pushing, they keep saying yes when their body is begging them to stop. And they tell themselves it's because they're strong, disciplined, responsible. But underneath, they're just scared of what's left when the doing stops. There's a story of a woman who worked in healthcare for 40 years. She was the one people called in emergencies, the one who solved problems, the one who never said no. Her identity was built on being indispensable. When she retired, people told her, "You've earned it, relax, enjoy." But within 6 months, she felt like she was disappearing. No one needed her anymore, no one called. Her purpose, her worth, the thing that made her feel alive, it was tied to being needed. And when that stopped, she didn't know how to exist. She wasn't tired from doing too much. She was exhausted from being someone who couldn't stop without feeling like she was failing. That's the trap. Not overwork, but over-identification. Buddhism has a teaching about this. It's called anatta, non-self. It means that the identities you cling to, the roles you think define you, they're not you. They're constructs. They're costumes you wear. And clinging to a costume that no longer fits is suffering. But letting go of that costume, that's terrifying. Because underneath, you might not know what's left. You might not recognize yourself without the role. And so you keep wearing it, even when it's suffocating you. Here's the shift that changes everything. Rest is not weakness. Rest is not laziness. Rest is not giving up. Rest is the practice of remembering that your worth is not conditional on your output. You are valuable because you exist, not because you achieve, not because you produce, not because you prove, not because others need you. You are valuable because you breathe, because you're here. Because your existence itself has worth that no role, no title, no achievement can add to or take away. But that's hard to believe when you've spent your whole life measuring yourself by what you do. And the moment you start practicing that truth, really practicing it, not just thinking about it but living it, the exhaustion starts to lift. Not because you're doing less, but because you're finally letting yourself be. Practice this. Notice what you say to yourself when you rest. Do you hear, "I should be doing something"? Do you feel guilty? Do you feel like you're wasting time? That voice isn't truth. That voice is conditioning. Years and years of messages that taught you that your worth is earned, not inherent, and you can unlearn it. But most people never do. Because unlearning it means facing the void underneath, the space where the role used to be, the silence where the validation used to be, the emptiness where the identity used to be. And that void asks a question most people spend their whole life avoiding. If I'm not this role, if I'm not what I do, then what am I? The answer to that question is where freedom begins. But getting there requires something most people resist. It requires learning to stop before you collapse. And that's a skill most people never develop. Lesson 4. Learning to stop is a form of wisdom. Saying no isn't rebellion. It isn't selfishness. It's clarity. It's choosing not to bleed your life away through endless obligations that were never truly yours to carry in the first place. Because there's a difference between caring and carrying. Caring is love. Carrying is burden. And most people confuse the two until they collapse under the weight of things that were never theirs to hold. In Buddhist teaching, there's a concept called right effort. It means knowing when to push and when to release, when to engage and when to step back, when to help and when to let others walk their own path. But in a world that glorifies hustle, that celebrates busyness, that measures worth by output, stopping feels like failure. So people don't stop. They keep going until life forces them to stop, until the body breaks, until the mind shuts down, until they have no choice. And by then, they've lost years they could have lived peacefully if only they'd learned to stop sooner. Stopping protects your body. Stopping protects your mind. Stopping protects your relationships. Because when you're constantly drained, you have nothing left to give the people who actually matter. And here's the truth most people miss. The wise person isn't the one who can do the most. The wise person is the one who stops before life forces them to stop. Think about the people you admire who aged gracefully. They didn't burn themselves out trying to prove something. They didn't cling to roles that were crushing them. They learned, often through pain, that the ability to say no is the ability to protect your peace. Ask yourself, where am I saying yes only because I'm afraid of disappointing someone? Where am I carrying weight that isn't mine? Where am I still trying to prove something I've already proven 100 times? That fear of disappointing others, that need to prove, that inability to stop, it's expensive, and it charges you in years. Years of energy, years of peace, years of life you don't get back. So learn to stop, not out of laziness, not out of apathy, but out of wisdom, out of respect for the finite energy you have left, out of love for the person you're becoming. Because the second half of life isn't about doing more, it's about choosing better. And choosing better means learning when to walk away. But even when you learn to stop, there's still something people cling to, something that feels necessary but quietly steals what matters most. Lesson 5. Money can't buy time, but you're selling your time cheap. We live as if time is renewable, as if there's always more, as if next year is guaranteed. It isn't. Money can return. Opportunities can come back. Possessions can be replaced. But time never does. Once it's gone, completely, permanently, and no amount of success can buy it back. But here's the deeper, more uncomfortable truth. You can have a free afternoon and still be poor in time. Because your mind is busy, even when your calendar is empty. You're resting, but you're worrying. You're free, but you're mentally still working. You're sitting in silence, but your thoughts are screaming. That's not time. That's noise wearing a mask. Research on time perception shows something fascinating. As we age, time feels like it's speeding up. Not because the days are shorter, but because we're living on autopilot. When life becomes repetitive, when nothing is new, when you stop paying attention, time compresses. It vanishes. Neuroscientists have studied this. When your brain encounters something novel, something that requires attention, it creates more detailed memories. Those memories make time feel fuller, richer, more expansive. But when every day looks the same, when you're just going through the motions, your brain stops recording, it stops paying attention. And years can pass in what feels like weeks, because nothing stood out enough to be remembered. That's why childhood feels so long. Everything is new, every experience is being recorded, but by the time you're 50, 60, unless you're intentionally creating novelty, unless you're breaking patterns, time starts to blur together. And then you look back and wonder, where did it all go? But when you're present, when you're fully engaged, when you're here, not mentally somewhere else, time expands, it slows, you actually feel like you have more of it. So the question isn't just how much time do you have left. The question is, how much of that time are you actually living? How much of it are you present for? Because you can live 20 more years and only truly be present for a fraction of them. Or you can live 10 more years and be awake for all of them. The length matters less than the depth. Buddhism teaches something profound. The past is memory. The future is imagination. And the only moment that truly exists is this one, right now, this breath, this second. In the suttas, there's a teaching. Do not pursue the past. Do not lose yourself in the future. The past no longer is. The future has not yet come. Looking deeply at life as it is in the very here and now, the practitioner dwells in stability and freedom. And yet, most people spend this moment worrying about the next one, or replaying the last one, or planning 20 steps ahead, and in doing so, they miss the only time that's real. You think you're saving time by multitasking, by planning, by staying busy, but you're not. You're spending time without ever actually living it. You're trading presence for productivity, peace for planning, life for the illusion of control. And here's what makes this painful. You're doing it voluntarily. No one is forcing you to give your time away to mental noise. You're choosing it, often without even realizing it. Here's the practice. For 60 seconds, do nothing. No fixing, no planning, no scrolling, no thinking about what's next. Just one breath in, one breath out. Feel your body. Notice the air. Be here. If that feels uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is showing you where your freedom is trapped. It's showing you how much of your life you've been giving away to mental noise that doesn't serve you. Time is the one thing you can never get more of, and yet you're selling it cheap, trading it for worry, for busyness, for the illusion of control. But time isn't something to spend, it's something to inhabit. And the moment you start inhabiting your time instead of racing through it, your life changes. Not because you have more time, but because you're finally present for the time you have. And when you start being present, you realize something painful. Something most people avoid their entire life. You realize how much time you've spent running from the one thing that matters most. Lesson 6. The real pain of old age isn't poverty, it's loneliness. Many people think the biggest fear of aging is running out of money. And yes, financial insecurity is real. It's stressful, it's difficult. But for most people, the deeper fear, the one that sits in the chest like a stone, is this: being alone and feeling like you don't matter. Not just physically alone, but emotionally invisible, forgotten, unnecessary. And loneliness isn't only about having no one around, it's about having no inner place to return to. It's about never learning how to be with yourself without feeling like you're being punished. Research shows that loneliness in older adults is linked to faster cognitive decline, higher rates of depression, and even earlier death. Not because of external circumstances, but because the human spirit withers when it feels unseen. And here's the painful irony. Many people spend their whole life surrounded by people only to realize in their later years that they never actually learned how to be alone. They never built an inner refuge. They never cultivated the ability to sit with themselves without needing distraction, validation, or noise. So when the noise stops, when the busyness fades, when people naturally drift into their own lives, these individuals collapse inward because they don't know how to hold themselves. Buddhism teaches something essential. Solitude is not the same as loneliness. Solitude is presence. Loneliness is absence. Solitude is being with yourself. Loneliness is being abandoned by yourself. And if you've never learned how to be with yourself gently, with compassion, with patience, then being alone later will feel like exile. But if you learn it now, if you start building that inner steadiness, solitude becomes strength. It becomes refuge. It becomes a place you can always return to, no matter what happens outside. Relationships matter. Community matters. Connection matters deeply. But outer connection can't replace inner steadiness. If you're hollow inside, no amount of company will fill you. Ask yourself, if everyone went quiet for a week, if no one called, if no one needed you, would I collapse, or would I come home to myself? That answer tells you what to build next. Because the people who age peacefully, the ones who carry calm into their later years, they're not the ones who were never alone. They're the ones who learned how to be alone without feeling abandoned. They built an inner world rich enough to sustain them. They practiced presence. They made peace with silence. They learned that their worth doesn't depend on being needed by others. And when the world gets quieter, as it naturally does, they don't fall apart. Because they've already found themselves. But even when you find yourself, there's still a trap. A subtle one. One that looks like self-care, but is actually fear in disguise. Lesson 7. Status and image reduce fear, but they can't create peace. When people feel their value fading, they often reach for symbols. A new car, a new watch, a new upgrade, a visible sign that says, "I still matter." And sometimes it feels good. Briefly. But satisfaction that depends on appearance is like a spark in the wind, fast to arrive, faster to disappear. Because when the inside feels empty, the outside needs more and more to cover it. And that's not enjoyment, that's anxiety dressed up as success. In psychology, this is called compensatory consumption. It's the act of purchasing things not because you want them, but because they temporarily reduce the fear that you're losing relevance, that you're becoming invisible, that you're no longer who you used to be. And in a culture obsessed with youth, with productivity, with appearance, aging can feel like a slow erasure. So people fight it. They buy things. They upgrade. They try to look younger, act younger, prove they're still in the game. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Those purchases don't create peace. They create pressure. Because now you have to maintain the image. You have to keep up. You have to prove over and over that you still matter. Buddhism has a word for this, tanha. It means craving, not just wanting something, but needing it to feel whole. And tanha is exhausting, because it's never satisfied. The more you feed it, the hungrier it gets. You buy something, it feels good for a moment, then the feeling fades, and you need the next thing, and the next, and the next. And you're chasing a peace that external things can never provide. Because peace doesn't come from adding more to your life. It comes from releasing the need to prove anything at all. Think about the moments when you felt most at peace. Were they the moments when you had the most? Or were they the moments when you needed the least? Ask yourself, before any big decision, am I buying joy or am I buying reassurance? Am I choosing this because it genuinely adds to my life or because I'm trying to cover a fear? Those two things are not the same, and confusing them will drain you. The people who age with grace don't cling to status. They don't need symbols to prove their worth, because they've already learned something deeper, that who they are has nothing to do with what they own, what they look like, or what others think. They've made peace with impermanence. They've let go of the need to be seen a certain way, and in that letting go, they've found something status can never provide: freedom. But that freedom requires something most people spend their whole life avoiding: something honest, something final. Lesson 8. Old age doesn't need more busyness. It needs preparation for letting go. This is the lesson most people avoid, not because it's dark, but because it's honest. The second half of life isn't just about achieving more, accumulating more, proving more. It's about releasing well, releasing roles, releasing control, releasing the constant need to prove you are enough. And you don't have to talk about death directly to understand this. You just have to be honest about what aging is: a slow process of letting go. Your strength, your speed, your independence, your identity, your roles. Layer by layer, life asks you to release. And most people fight it. They resist every step. They cling to what's leaving. And in doing so, they turn a natural process into suffering. Buddhism teaches that a peaceful end begins with a peaceful today, that if you learn to let go in small ways now, letting go later doesn't feel like it's being taken from you. It feels like you're laying things down with grace. There's a practice in Buddhist meditation called dying before you die. It doesn't mean giving up. It means practicing release while you're still here, practicing the art of letting go before life forces you to. Because here's the truth: everything you're holding on to right now, you will eventually have to release. Your career, your roles, your body, your identity, everything. The question is, will you release it with resistance or with grace? Think about a tree in autumn. It doesn't fight to keep its leaves. It doesn't panic. It doesn't cling. It releases them one by one, because that's the natural rhythm. And in doing so, it survives the winter. It makes space for new growth. But when we cling, when we refuse to let go, we suffer. We exhaust ourselves trying to hold on to things that are already leaving, and we miss the peace that comes from acceptance. This doesn't mean becoming passive. It doesn't mean giving up on life. It means recognizing that life has seasons, and the season you're in now is not about adding more. It's about releasing what no longer serves you, so you can fully live what remains. Ask yourself, what am I still gripping that is stealing my peace? What role am I clinging to that no longer fits? What fear am I holding that I've carried for decades? That grip is optional, even if you've been holding it your whole life. Even if it feels like part of you, it's optional. And the moment you start practicing release, not as loss but as freedom, your life softens, your breath deepens, your heart opens. Because you're no longer fighting the current, you're moving with it. The Buddha taught that attachment is the root of suffering, not love, not care, but attachment. The desperate clinging to things as if they define you. And the practice of letting go, of releasing attachment, is not something you do once. It's something you practice every day, in small ways, in quiet ways, until it becomes natural, because the people who reach the end of life with peace, they're not the ones who accumulated the most. They're the ones who learned to let go the best. And that practice, it starts now, not when you're forced to, but while you still have the choice. You don't need to change everything. You just need to see clearly. Because clarity doesn't demand a dramatic overhaul. It doesn't require a complete reinvention. It asks for one honest choice, repeated. Pick 2 or 3 lessons that hit you the hardest, the ones that made you pause, the ones that made you uncomfortable, and start small. One boundary where you've been bleeding. One quiet walk where you're fully present. One truth you've been avoiding that you finally speak out loud. One obsession you've been carrying that you consciously release. No one knows how many years they have left. Not you, not me, not anyone. But everyone can choose how to live the years they have. And that choice begins the moment you stop delaying your life. Not tomorrow, not when things slow down, not after the next milestone, now. Because the life you're waiting to live, it's already here. It's been here the whole time. You've just been too busy, too distracted, too afraid to fully step into it. But the door is open, and it's been waiting. The question is, will you walk through it while you still can? Or will you keep waiting until the door closes, wondering why you were so afraid to live when you still had the strength? The choice is yours, and the time is now.